up on top, properly mounted and scared, not cracked or broken, clean, proper color amber. My windshield, properly mounted and scared, not cracked or broken, no wheel leads or stickers, and it's clean. My windshield wipers and wiper blades, properly mounted and scared, not cracked, bent, or broken, and the blades are not ripped or cut or torn, and they touch the window all the way down. Okay, and then my hood. My hood is properly mounted and scared, not cracked or broken, and it's properly latched. Okay, my mirrors, fender mirrors, left and right, and brackets, they're not cracked, bent, or broken. The mirrors themselves are not cracked or broken, and they're clean. The brackets have all the hardware. Okay, do it. That's what I said. Not cracked, bent, or broken. Properly mounted and secure. Okay. Isn't that not loose? My grill, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, and there's no debris on the grill to restrict the airflow going through it. Okay. And then my headlights, high beams and low beams, are properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or not cracked or broken. They're clean. My left and right turn signal, also my four-way flashers, they're on different circuits, so I have to check them different and separate. Okay, so my left and right turn signals, four-way flashers, properly mounted and secured, not cracked or broken, and proper color amber. My bumper, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, and all hardware is on my bumper. And then my registration plate. My registration plate is properly mounted and secured, not cracked or broken, and it's up to date and clean. Okay, and then I'm going to open my hood. I'm going to open this side first. Okay, and then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to open the other side. And the reason why I do it this way is because I'm going to start on the passenger side. Okay, and my passenger side, this is all the unique stuff that is on this side of the vehicle. I'm going to start with all my hoses. All my hoses are properly mounted and secured on both ends with clamps and nuts and washers, and the hoses are not, there's no abrasion, bulges, or cut, and they're not leaking. Okay, and then I'm going to my radiator. My radiator is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, and it's not leaking. My hoses coming off my radiator are properly mounted and secured, no abrasion, bulges, or cuts. They're secured with clamps, and they are not leaking. Okay, and then I'm going up here to my alternator. My alternator, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. It's in good shape. The electrical wires coming to and from my alternator, properly mounted and secured, no frayed wires or bare wires showing, and they're tight. My alternator is belt driven, and the belts, all my belts on the front of this engine are properly mounted and secured, not cracked or broken, no abrasions, bulges, and there's not cuts, and they're not dangerously worn thin. Okay, there's no more than 3/4 of an inch play, and no less than a 1/2 inch play. Okay, and then my water pump right under the alternator. My water pump is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. My water pump is not leaking. All my hoses going to and from my water pump are properly mounted and secured with clamps on both ends of the hoses and everything, and nuts, and they're not leaking. No abrasion, bulges, or cuts. My water pump is gear or belt driven right there. Okay, the water pump is belt driven. We already talked about the belt, so I don't have to say it again. Okay, and then my oil dipstick tube, my filler tube, they're properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, and they're not leaking. Okay, in order to check the fuel oil level, I pull the dipstick out, wipe it off, put it back in, pull it out. My oil level's got to be between the add and the full mark. If it's below the add mark, I take this off right here and put 1 gallon in it. Okay, 1 gallon at a time. Once I do that, then I recheck it. If it needs another gallon, I repeat this process. Okay, until I get the proper level of fuel. Now that's all you have to do on this side of the truck for the test. Of course, during your pre-trip inspection on your own trucks and everything, you look at everything. All right, the turbo. Here's the turbo air breather. Okay, all of it. This is your air compressor for your AC. Okay, and all of that. You'll look at your tires over here and your brakes and everything. But for your test, just what I mentioned was all it takes. Let's go around and watch the middle. I'm going to knock the head off. Now, on this side of the engine, I'm going to start again with all my hoses. All my hoses and air lines are properly mounted and secured. No abrasion bulges or cuts. They're secured on both ends with clamps, nuts and washers, and all of that good stuff, okay? Every hole's in here. And there's no abrasion bulges or cuts, and they're not leaking. And then I start up here. My coolant reservoir. My coolant reservoir is properly mounted and secured, not cracked or broken, and it's not leaking. The level of the coolant reservoir is between the minimum and the maximum. You can see it in there, see? And the lid is on tight and it's not leaking. My hoses coming from and to the coolant reservoir are properly mounted and secured with clamps, and there's no abrasion bulges or cuts on them, and they're not leaking. My sensor to my coolant reservoir, properly mounted and secured, not cracked or broken, and it's not leaking. Okay. My electrical wires coming from my sensor, no bare wires are frayed wires showing, and it's not leaking. All right. Once I get to that, I go down here inside. I go to my air compressor. My air compressor is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. It's not leaking. All hardware is present, and all the hoses going to and from the air compressor are properly mounted and secure, and they are no abrasion bulges or cuts on them, and they're not leaking. My air compressor is gear driven, okay? And right in front of my air compressor is my power steering pump, right there. Power steering pump right there, guys. My power steering pump, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. It's not leaking. All hardware is present, and the hoses coming from and to my power steering pump, no abrasion bulges or cuts, and they're not leaking. And once I get through with that, I'm through inside there. I come this way. My power steering pump reservoir, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. It has the proper level. It's right up to there. I can see it right there. See? If you had a light, you put it up there and everything see it real good. So, not that kind of light.
I want to see if I see it.
But my power steering pump reservoir is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. The C-clamp is on tight and everything, and it's not leaking. My cap is on tight, and it's filled to the proper level of power steering oil, okay, or fluid. And all my hoses coming from and to the power steering pump reservoir, properly mounted and secured, no abrasion, bulges, or cuts, and it's not leaking. Now, I go from there to my frame. My frame is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, no illegal welds or aftermarket holes, okay? And then I go to my suspension. My spring hanger, front and back, are properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. The bushings in them are in good shape and everything, and they are not loose. My spring leaves, right there. My spring leaves are properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. None are shifted or scissored, okay? And they are held onto the axle by my U-bolts. My U-bolts are right here. They are properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. And there's no shiny metal around my U-bolts where it's touching the springs to indicate looseness. They're tight, okay? And then my shock absorber. My shock absorber is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, and it's not leaking, okay? Because it's got hydraulic fluid in it, right? So it's not leaking. Now, once I get through with that, I'm going to come up here. I'm going to my drive column, okay, or my steering column. My steering column is properly mounted and secure on both ends with U-joints, okay? It's not cracked, bent, or broken. My U-joints are free of debris and they are properly greased, okay? And then I'm going to my gearbox. My gearbox is right here. Power steering gearbox. It's properly mounted and secured to the frame. It's not loose, it's tight. All hardware is present and it's not leaking. All my hoses going from and to the gearbox are properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. No abrasion, bulges, or cuts, and they're not leaking, okay? Now, after I get through with that, I'm going to my linkage, steering linkage. My pitman arm, which is right here, my drag link, right there, my steering knuckle and steering arm, and tie rod. Okay? They are all properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken. All hardware is present, including the castle nuts and Carter keys. Okay? And the bushings on my drag link and tie rod are in good shape and properly greased. That's it. Okay? And then from there, I'm coming on out. I'm going to my brake system. My air line going to my brake chamber. It's properly mounted and secured, no abrasion, bulges, or cuts, and it's not leaking, okay? My brake chamber itself, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, not leaking. The C-clamp holding my brake chamber together and everything is properly mounted and secured and not loose, okay? And then right here is my slack adjuster and push rod, okay? My slack adjuster and push rod. Properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, and all hardware is present, including the clevis pin, and Carter key. And with the brakes released when pulled by hand, the slack adjuster and push rod should not come out no more than 1 inch, where the clevis pin goes through the push rod and slack adjuster. Okay. After I get through with that, I'm going down here to my brake drum and brake lining. My brake drum and brake lining properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. No debris on my brake drum or brake lining, such as oil or grease. Okay. Anybody got any questions on that?
Yeah, we gotta see without oil and grease.
Sure. If it's got oil and grease on it, guess what it's going to do? It's going to crystallize, and you ain't going to have no brakes. Huh? All right. So now I'm finished with my brake chamber and my brakes. Okay. Now I'm going to come right on back out, and I'm going to my tires. Remember the acronym ICD? Inflation, condition, depth. My tires are properly mounted and secured to the rim. There's no abrasion, bulges, or cuts on the sidewalls or the tread. Okay. The tread is evenly worn all the way across. There's no recaps or retreads on my steer tires, and the tread depth is at least 4/32 or more. Okay, and it's inflated to 100 psi, our manufacturer specification. Now, did I leave anything out? Huh? I ain't down there yet.
Oh,
Always. Now, once I get through there, I come down here and I tell you, my tire is seated and the seal around the rim is properly mounted and secured, and it's not leaking, okay? My tire's not leaking. Now my rims. My rim is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. No illegal holes or aftermarket. No illegal welds or aftermarket holes on my rims, okay? My U-boats are, shit, damn. My
She's moving.
Lug nuts.
My lug nuts. How do you check for a lug nut be loose?
With a wrench.
That's right. With a lug wrench, right? Okay.
But if they are loose, they have rust.
All right.
rust
Now,
streaks.
my lug nuts are properly mounted and secured. All are present. There's no tall tale signs of looseness, such as rust trails or shiny threads. If there were, then I'd have to check each one of them with a lug wrench, and if there were several of them loose, then I'd take them all off, take the rim off, and check the hose for oblongation or cracks in my hose. Okay. Now, my valve stem. My valve stem's probably mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken. and it's not leaking, and it's got a cap on it, okay? And this is where I would check my tire inflation daily with a tire gauge. My inner and outer hub seal is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, not leaking. All hardware is present and tight. And in order to check my oil in my hub seal, I would take this out, put my finger in there. If I feel oil or got oil on it and everything, then I'm good. If not, then I had to fill it up to manufacturer specifications. Okay? Any questions what I just went over? Huh? You didn't film me, see? You're gonna have a problem with it.
I'm gonna send it
to him.
You ran out of it?
Yeah.
Ah, damn.
He ran out of tape.
He ran out of tape. You didn't film either, did you?
He's on cricket.
Now listen, guys. Monday, you guys have got to come up here and spend 4 hours down here. Okay? 4 hours down here
Just like
doing pre-trip inspection. It can either be down here or up there on another truck. If we have a truck and trailer down here, I would rather for you to be down here than up there. Okay? And get somebody like this man right here that knows it all to be the spokesman. Okay? So he need to get on the ball this weekend and learn this shit, doesn't
he likes to help, but he don't really like to help.
he? 2:30, be fine.
I found that out.
Okay?
He likes to help, but he don't really like to help.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. But anyway, that right there is section A. We do the whole tray and trailer, okay? I don't put it in sections. Now, whenever I test you, I'll have a little box belt like that and everything, and it'll have A, B, C, or D in it, okay? If you get D, it's the whole truck and trailer. If you get A, it's just what I've done here, plus the coupling system. If you get B, it's from the door to the rear of the tractor tires, okay? And the mud flaps, okay? And then you have to do the coupling system, okay? If you get C, it's the coupling system plus the trailer and one axle on the trailer. That's it. I hope every one of you get D. The whole damn thing. That way I know you're gonna know it, okay?
No, I might look. I'm probably gonna get D.
Yeah.
I have
Huh?
C
I
look.
hope I get C.
C is the easiest part, really.
Yeah. So that
Really
was
it
like,
is.
see you later. I'm out, guys.
D.
Uh,
Above.
But you see what I'm talking about, right? It's very easy if you'll use those films and do it like that every time. You can't go wrong, guys. Now, like I said, B starts